Hey guys, welcome to this channel. Now, over the holidays, I was watching some interesting YouTube videos on construction, especially residential construction in Kenya and in African countries, especially East Africa and Nigeria, Ghana. One that I found interesting is this sort of phenomena on YouTube, where some YouTube celebrities in Kenya are actually constructing they call them mansions and villas out in the village. Now, I must say that that is really a commendable effort because building a house in Kenya is very expensive because first of access to mortgages is not easy. Not a lot of people can afford mortgages. And these young men are building these houses mortgage free. They're actually using their cash and the cash they earn from YouTube and support from their YouTube subscribers to do this. So it's a really, really commendable effort and I applaud them for that. So, however, there are a number of things I've noted on the construction side of things, which I think the fundis are not necessarily doing it right. And I thought I should point this out and then also point out how that can be done properly. One of the things that is in vogue, which they are really proud of, is this construction style known as hidden roof, or we call it parapet wall roofing. So basically, it's where you construct a roof and then it's surrounded, the roof is surrounded by about maybe 300 millimeter or 900 millimeters of wall. So you don't see the roof. Now, that is one aspect I've noted that has been challenging to them and their fundis because they are required to do what we call a hidden gutter or an internal gutter. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to actually properly do an internal gutter within the Kenyan context, while referring to how we do it out here in New Zealand. So, well, first I'll show you the video that I'm referring to is one of the young YouTubers that is constructing his house. It's a big effort. These are some big houses, probably in millions of shillings and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so it's a commendable effort. So let's watch this video and I'll be pointing out what he's doing and how the fundis, can improve and help him to actually build better. Here we go.
Already this place has been plastered and today they're using this pure cement to already this place has been plastered and
so I'll just rewind a little bit so we get the context.
Just wash it. So much water. Yeah, so we are on top here. Already this place has been plastered and today they're using this pure cement to but happening in here you don't direct the COVID, isn't it? Better side. So guys, this one here, this hole used to go down to the ceiling. We are planning now to direct the water here so that it can come this place. Actually, it was one of my suggestions earlier, but I don't know how I forgot. and did not tell the main mason. So guys, I'm seated on top of the roof. So, nice.
So basically, the way they're constructing this house, this is a typical example of a hidden roof construction. So this is what they're calling a parapet. So this is your parapet wall. I'm assuming it's about, I don't know, maybe 400 millimeters high or 0.4 of a meter. That is your roof there. And then if we continue watching, the hidden gutter is there, right? So
yeah, so what they have been doing now is now tightening the roof.
yeah,
Tightening
you can see the
guys,
tiling.
how the roof looks like.
Okay, so he's basically explaining how the roof looks like. So you can see that is the external wall. That's the external parapet wall right there. And then the roof is sloping inward. One side of the roof is sloping inwards, and then the other one is also sloping inwards, and they meet somewhere at the center, and right there, that is your internal gutter. So this is what they're calling the hidden roof, because when you're standing on the ground somewhere here, you won't see the roof. You just see the parapet walling. So this is called a parapet wall. And it varies in size, so depending on how you want to do it. If you're doing this type of roof, your parapet really should be about minimum 300 millimeters high. And this side, of course, it can vary as well. This just depending on the slope of the roof. This is about probably about 11 degrees or something. So let's continue watching, and then I'll just come back and try to explain, take you through stage by stage what are some of the things that they've done right and some of the things that I think they could improve on.
It's really, really beautiful, so beautiful. I'm just standing on top of this roof, and guys, thank you so much for giving me a place I can call home. Thank you for everyone who has been supporting me, encouraging me. Right now, Nasto can proudly say that we have a home here. So this is the house, guys. It really looks beautiful. Just look at how the iron sheet look. Very nice, very nice. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting me since day one, encouraging me, liking my videos, watching my videos, sharing them. A big shout out to you all.
Right, so let's go back, and then so we've seen what that roof looks like. So I'm just gonna turn around, and then turn the camera around, and then I'll take you through the things that I wanna talk about that they can improve. Go.
This is now the gift I can say that I can give to you guys for supporting me wherever you are.
Right, so as you can see, the YouTuber, I think it's this channel it's Nasto. He's very proud of what he has achieved, and it is very commendable. Like I say, it's a very commendable effort because it's not easy to build this size of house. It's very tough. But I want to point out something now. You notice this internal gutter, the way they've done it. Just a moment. Somewhere here. There we go. Right. That's where I want to be. Right. So this internal gutter, if you notice the way they've done it, it's very rudimentary. It's very basic. So they've got the iron sheets coming up, coming down, and then they've tiled it here. So they're using tiles as the base. I'm not sure what the tiles are lying on, but it has to be what your tiles lie on has to be really robust. And then I don't see any waterproof membrane, although in the video he talks about using cement, waterproof cement to waterproof the gutter. And then you notice on this side they are using a lot of they're actually on the parapet wall, they are actually tiling it. I'm not sure about if the tiling of the parapet wall is a good idea. The problem, one of the things being that tiles are a very brittle material, and in Kenya we normally have some hailstorms, so every time it rains and then the hailstones hit the tiles, there's that impact will eventually cause some sort of cracking. And when the cracking happens, it's only a matter of time for the tiles before they tear apart and expose the parapet walling, and then cause some leaking to happen. So you combine the impact of the hailstorms and then the expansion of due to temperature change, then you find that maybe it's not really such a good idea to use tiles on top of a parapet wall, or even on this gutter, on this internal gutter. And then you look at this, the joint between the parapet wall and the roof. That's something I'll make another video and talk about how that could be done properly. So basically what we're seeing here is that yes, the roof looks nice. The use of these ribbed iron sheets, corrugated iron sheets, it's really nice. They're beautiful to look at, but when you look at this internal gutter, there's quite a few things that could have been done better. And so I want to show you how that could have been done better here. So I took the liberty to sort of just draw up what a typical internal gutter looks like. So on my drawing here, I have what I've labeled what Kenyan builders do. Right, so this is your typical cross-section of an internal gutter that we've just observed in terms of a drawing. This is what sort of I drew just by looking at that roof. So you have, I'm assuming they are supporting that internal gutter with something at the bottom. I'm assuming between the trusses they've laid this battens. So this is timber battens, 90 by 45 timber battens running horizontally along the trusses. And then I'm assuming, I don't think they used plywood as a substrate. I think they might have used something else, but ideally they would have used plywood. But anyway, let's assume whatever it is they used, I'm not sure. But there is something there that the tiles are lying on. And then here, then they have placed their tiles, which are then on grout. Now the problem with that is that the other thing is I don't know what the depth of that internal gutter. There's a standard depth that it should be, and just from looking at the picture, let me see. I don't know what that depth is. It looks to me it's a very shallow depth. It's probably not deep enough as the required minimum. But nevertheless, let's see what they can do to improve that gutter. So back here on my drawing, so one of the things that I point out is that there's no roof underlay. I didn't notice any roof underlay in the video. When when you watch the whole video, they show you under the roof and all the roof structure and stuff. I did not notice any roof underlay. I haven't noticed any gutter flashing, which the flashing just prevents water from coming back in. And then there is no proper waterproofing, and then is the gutter height proper or appropriate? So with the gutter flashing, see, the thing is that if there's normally a lot of rain in Kenya, and so when it rains and this gutter flashes, chances are that without necessary flashing there, even if they've put, I'm aware they normally put some sort of sealant here, but even if they put sealant, the sealant with time, comes off just due to wear and tear and temperature changes. So when there's too much water falling here, and then it floods, when water floods up to that level there, for instance, what will happen is that then some of that water will probably just rise and can overflow inside here, and then down this way. So water will just most likely overflow down the sides of that gutter without any, if there is not any internal any proper flashing or membrane or whatever. So that's one thing. That's one of the main issues with this sort of construction that we've seen, that some of these guys are not observing. And then the other thing is that without, again, also roof underlay does help with the heating and prevention of moisture, so there's not that. And then of course the gutter height, like I said, when you look over here, the gutter height is the depth is not that much, and then there will definitely be issues around here along this edge where the roof material, the roof sheeting meets with the parapet wall and the tile. But I have a different video just explaining how that could be done properly. So the obvious question is then, how can they do this better? Now, I have here a diagram of a typical gutter, a typical internal gutter, which I would like to go through and so they can see. Normally, a typical internal gutter, first of, it's about 300 minimum in width. If you can see this is about 300 minimum in width. And then it has to have a gutter base that is strong enough to walk on. So normally we would use 20 millimeter treated plywood, and then with an upstand base at 90 degrees. And so this height from here to there needs to be at least 90 mil or 100 mil. And then just to make sure that there isn't overflow, the required minimum is 70 minimum, and then you need to have like 20 millimeter freeboard. Now once you've laid your base, which is plywood, 21 mil treated plywood, then you need to have this rectangular triangular chamfers. These are called first of, you need to have these gutter sides to support the membrane, and then you need to have these wedges, triangular wedges that are sloping, that will help this membrane, water from this membrane, to flow into the middle of the gutter and then out. So you have the base, and then you have the waterproofing membrane, and then you have, that is the roof underlay there, and then you have your roof. The roof underlay has to overlap over the purlin at least 100 millimeters minimum, and then this roof has to overhang into the gutter about 50 millimeter roof overhang. the other thing that we need to consider with an internal membrane gutter is that this lining could either be a membrane gutter lining, which is a special membrane that is waterproof, or it could be a metal over an isolating layer. So you could have a metal gutter over here, but then between the metal gutter and the plywood base, you need to have a waterproofing substrate or layer there as well, right? So this is your typical gutter, internal gutter design, and this is how it really should be done in order to ensure that, you know, that roof doesn't leak. So now you can try to compare this here, that internal gutter, with what has been done, guys, with this sort of construction, and see if there's anything that they can improve here. So like I said, they're using tiles, which I'm not sure we should be using tiles there. And also the waterproofing, you know, I haven't seen any water. They're talking about using a waterproofing cement. I'm not sure they can do that. I mean, you can use waterproofing cement, but I don't think you wanna, I'm not sure how it's gonna work there, to be honest. However, this is just to point out how they can do it properly. And then another variation of this is, so here I've got another diagram that, you know, shows clearly how it can be done as well. Again, this is overall gutter, which should be 300 millimeters on membrane or ply substrate, and then the membrane has to be taken. So this membrane, if I zoom in, has to be taken closely over the purlin, over the roof purlin, and then the gutter has to be 70 millimeter minimum depth. You have your roof underlay overlapping the gutter membrane, and you have your eaves flashing there, and then that's your metal roofing. Like I said, again, this could be a special waterproof membrane, or it could be a metal gutter. And metal gutters in Kenya, someone may ask, how do we get a metal gutter? You could go to the Juakali guys along Jogoo Road, or along Jogoo Road, and they could actually prefabricate a steel gutter for you. Just make sure it's stainless steel, and then once you put it over this ply substrate, you make sure you put a waterproofing membrane sheet, or DPC, or butanol. You know, butanol can work. So butanol of plywood, and then you can put the steel gutter on top like that. 300 overall minimum. Personally, I normally just go for 510. The reason being that 510 millimeter wide is good enough for a shovel to walk through if the gutter is flooded with debris. And then another variation of that, and this is what I was talking about, the parapet wall. Another variation of that is they could easily have, so with this roof, I'll just sort of do that so that we can see both windows. So with this roof, instead of the gutter being in the middle, they could have easily sloped this gutter from one side all the way to the other side, and then have that internal gutter there. And then this is how they would have treated that parapet wall. So with the parapet wall, they could have had, again, a piece of timber wedge there, sloping, and then the usual plywood base with upstands, and then flashing there, and then roof membrane, and then the water will come through there, and then they will have a downpipe somewhere at the end here. Like, I think they do have a downpipe somewhere on this other side. Right. So basically, guys, that's sort of what I wanted to point out in this video, how to do a proper internal gutter within the Kenyan context. I have to specify that because in New Zealand, when we do internal gutters, we do them, they're much more complex and much more robust, but that's because we design to different conditions in Kenya than in New Zealand. So if you have any, I would say, like again, I would say I'm quite impressed by what these young people are doing, building those houses. And this video is just to point out to them that, you know, there are certain things they're doing that could be done better. And hopefully this video will be helpful to them and anyone else who is watching from Kenya and Africa for that matter, or anyone else who wants to know how an internal gutter is done. I hope this video helps you. So I'm gonna end it here, and thank you very much for watching. My next video, I'm talking about how to detail a proper parapet wall with an apron junction. So have a look at that as well, and I'll see you in the next video.